What's up guys, it's your boy Milano Miguel, back at it again with another video. Today's episode 27 of season 2 of the AC Milan vlog series, so here we go. Here we go. Match day 27 in the Italian Serie A, Milan will take on Napoli. Now, we know that this isn't going to be an easy game. We beat them 3-1 in the first leg of the season, but we are an injury-depleted side and we have a lot of rotation to go. The last time Milan beat Napoli in both fixtures of a season was in 2010-2011, which they went on to win the Scudetto. Ultimately, we need a win. Not expecting a win, in my opinion. That was not what I was expecting. Inter are 9 points clear at the top of the table because they beat Torino. Starting lineup, Donnarumma. We had Dalot filling in right back. Now with Dalot in right back, I thought that we might have seen Kalulu get a shout because we've seen that Dalot is weaker on the right compared to the left. When he plays left back, he does pretty well. So I thought maybe Kalulu would get a shout and then Dalot would probably fill in for Europa League, but that didn't happen. Matteo Gabbia makes his first start from his injury against Parma back in December, replacing Simon Kjaer. Can't overplay the guy, don't want him to get another injury, makes sense. Partnered with Fikayo Tomori, Theo Hernandez makes his way back to starting lineup. Sandro Tonali, Frank Kessié in a double pivot. And we had Castillejo, Hakan Çalhanoğlu makes his return, Rade Krunic, and Rafael Leao. Okay, let's talk about the game. This probably isn't going to be like my regular recaps, but let's just talk about the game. First half, Napoli kind of dominated, pretty much. I think Napoli created a lot of opportunities. Piotr Zielinski had two great opportunities to score. Donnarumma making that save on his first attempt in the 15th minute, I believe so. Napoli was quite dominant. They created more opportunities than us in that first half. Leao did a bit better. Wasn't as clinical as we needed him to be in this game. Okay, that is just the fact. He looked a bit more responsive, created some attacks, had some good runs, but the finishing is what's missing. And yes, I know there's a lot of pressure on him and steady growth, but he's had his fair share of games that he's played in the Milan shirt to be able to advance and grow a little. He seems to be on and off, or hot and cold. Like we gotta get some consistency in the boy. I think in the first half, Tomori played really well, probably the man of the match during the first half. Tonali and Kessié looking really good in that double pivot. I think Tonali's starting to grow into this team. Theo Hernandez going forward is a liability for us. I think that he goes forward too much and that ends up in us being exposed sometimes. But relatively, the first half was okay. We were 0-0 at halftime. Didn't really expect much out of it. I think that if Milan would have came out after halftime fast-paced, aggressive, and clinical, it probably could have got away with the win. So into the second half, I think we started off all right, but then it just went to worse. We kept losing the ball, just not good enough. Hakan Çalhanoğlu was not playing good enough, which makes sense because he's just coming back from the injury and he's not in form. But to be that stagnant in the attack and just to be not helping out like that is kind of unacceptable. In the 49th minute, Napoli would take the lead from a goal from Matteo Politano. Gabbia was with Politano, two-man. He's trying to decide, should he go with Politano or should he go with the guy who's behind him? Politano has some space, scuffs the shot, catches Gianluigi Donnarumma off guard, and it ends up in the back of the net. I mean, there wasn't really much that Donnarumma could do. It's not his fault. I think if we were defensively more aware and better positioned, we might have been able to prevent that. Again, with Theo Hernandez going up the pitch, defensive liability leaves us open at the back, but In the end, you had to pick up your head and try to fight for another goal. Pioli decided to make 3 changes. He took off Castillejo, Hakan, and Krunic. He brought in Rebic, Salamakers, and Brahim Diaz. We know what we're going to get out of Castillejo and Salamakers. They're going to run, they're going to get into the box, they're going to try to whip some balls in. This was an opportunity for Brahim Diaz to showcase himself. He had some good runs, some good dribbles. He lacks his awareness on the pitch. There were some instances in the game where if he picked his head up, he had some open passes that could have led to a shot or an opportunity for Milan to get a goal. But he wasn't looking up, and we've seen that quite a bit. I honestly don't think that Milan are going to redeem the 20 to 25 million option to buy. I think he's just going to go back to Real Madrid and hopefully fit into their system. It's not really working out for him here. We saw Kessié come off and Meite replace him, probably just because you don't want him tired, especially with the second leg of the Europa League coming up on Thursday. You want him well rested because we really need him in that midfield. Leao would come off in the 79th, replaced by Jens Peter Hauge. I think Hauge deserved, a chance. I think maybe we should have not put in Diaz, maybe put in Hauge, but hey, it is what it is. I already touched upon Leao. Hauge came into the game, last 10 minutes, not really much that they could do, but then tension started to rise and get quite feisty at the end of the game. So prior to this, there was an attacking play where Theo Hernandez was in the box, he was about to get the ball, goes down with some contact from Bakayoko. In my opinion, Theo Hernandez went down way too easily for that to be called a penalty. VAR had to go and check it. And then after that happened, Theo Hernandez sprints down, comes in really aggressive on Victor Osimhen. To me, once I saw that play, I was like, oh my God, that's a terrible tackle. And I was expecting a red card. But it was a yellow because it was not as high as expected. If it was higher, it'd probably be a red. But that was a rash decision. VAR checks it, no penalty. I think that's the right decision. Fair enough. That was probably Milan's only hope of getting back into the game with a penalty. Again, we had opportunities, but people weren't looking up the pitch to make that pass, to make that opportunity actually happen. 90th minute, Milan are trying to muster some courage to find an equalizer goal. We've seen this before earlier in the season where we scored late 90th minute winners or equalizers. We scored a 92nd minute equalizer against Manchester United. Rebic loses the ball, fouls a player, says something. I don't know what he says. If anybody finds out what he says, please let me know. Says something, gets a straight red, booked for dissent. Really stupid and inexcusable red card in my opinion. We're struggling with injuries. There's not a lot of depth. And for you to get a red card in the 92nd minute like that, really stupid. There was only 3 more minutes left. You could have kept that in. With that being said, he said something which can arguably lead to more than a 2-game suspension. So we'll see what happens on that. Maybe Milan will fine him or something. But we know that Rebic has a temper and sometimes he doesn't know how to keep it under control and he loses his temper and loses his cool. So that was expected. Match ends, Milan 0, Napoli 1. Gigio Donnarumma was fuming after the game. Don't know what happened. Maybe something was said. Like I said earlier, this wasn't going to be an easy game. I was expecting a draw, maybe, hopefully. That didn't happen. Milan coming away with a loss. It was expected. Injuries. We really missed Ibra in this game. We needed someone to be clinical and someone to be a target man because we whipped in a lot of crosses, but to no avail, nothing worked. Sandro Tonali was arguably a great player in this game. I think other than that, everybody played pretty decent. I've already touched on the people who didn't play well. I think Dalot was all right. He's not his best on the right. Gabbia did well for his first game in about 3 months. Yeah, he did pretty decent. He didn't have any mistakes. I think Tonali was my man of the match. Kessié did well. Meite coming in to fill in for Kessié did pretty well as well. Castillejo and Salamakers did their jobs running in, but we need that extra quality. We need an upgrade on the wings if we're gonna consistently contend for top 4 and be in that Champions League spot. We prepare for Manchester United on Thursday, and then after that we have Fiorentina. Just gotta keep it moving because this top 4 race is not going to be done anytime soon. those teams that are below us are creeping up the table slowly. We gained some points on Roma. It would have been nice for us to actually, get a win here, but that wasn't expected. That's really all I have for you guys. Forza Milan, peace.